In this episode of Gamercam Stories, you'll get to see 30 top submissions from various video games. Don't forget to send us your clip by checking out the link in the description. This submitter was pursuing a blue hatchback on the East Coast. The driver was being very dangerous, so our submitter had to stop him with a pit maneuver on a narrow road. Thanks to our submitter's skill, he was able to avoid involving an oncoming driver. The fleeing driver crashed into some trees, totaling their vehicle. Isaac was transporting cargo when he witnessed the following two events. See for yourself how strange the first one is. I'm wondering why this trailer is levitating. Later, he had to employ his reflexes and driving skills. He spotted one truck overtaking another, so he swerved into a ditch, causing some damage to his vehicle but bringing him to a stop. I guess that was better than crashing head-on into another semi-truck. First was racing on the Nürburgring when he tried to pass another driver. Suddenly, the other driver unexpectedly brake-checked him and he had no time to react. After the crash, he kept driving even though his car was smoking like crazy. This submitter was hit by a distracted Audi driver who drifted into his Tesla and went up on two wheels for a bit before going into a roll. Both cars were totaled, but neither driver was seriously injured. Quentin was riding his motorbike when he kicked a car for some reason. Unsurprisingly, the driver got angry and proceeded to chase him. When Quentin brake-checked him, the other driver rear-ended him at full speed. Benji sent us this clip of some epic driving. Do you think he's gonna crash? How about now? Nope. What about now? Ha! Nope. Surprise, he didn't crash at all. If I'd been his passenger, I'd be needing a new pair of pants. Junior was driving in Sandy Shores when his car stalled on a railroad crossing. A train was approaching, so he quickly got out of his car. When he looked back, the car had been smashed by the train. Phew, that was close. He was lucky he got out of there in time. Bart sent us this footage of a high-speed head-on collision. Allegedly, the driver of the black car was drunk when he crashed into the blue car. He even sent us this picture of the aftermath. Gunnar was cruising over the Gran Puente Bridge in Mexico in his newly purchased 2018 Ferrari Portofino. Since he was unfamiliar with the area, he didn't know that the two lanes would merge down to one. Apparently, the other drivers ahead of him weren't aware of this either. The driver in front of Gunnar slammed on the brakes and he had no time to avoid hitting them. This is why you should always maintain a safe following distance when driving in traffic. Rokas was driving his Hirochi ESBR 800 when he decided to attempt an e-brake drift. He lost control, flying across the road and into the grass, nearly hitting another vehicle before flying down a hill. I would say that drift attempt was a failure. Lily was driving around with Hannah. Hannah noticed the driver of a black car trying to overtake a red car. Lily watched the black car lose control, but she had no time to react. Unfortunately, Lily's leg was broken in the crash, but she's expected to make a full recovery. The driver of the black car was found to be at fault. Mark was driving down a street in heavy traffic and he had a sinking feeling that the busyness was likely to result in an accident. Sure enough, Mark heard a boom and saw two cars smash into each other. The car that had been rear-ended lost control and was hit by another car. This submitter was racing on the Nürburgring when another racer started having some trouble. When he tried to pass them, he lost control and was sent rolling down the track. Ezekiel was driving on a highway at night when traffic ahead suddenly began to slow down. He slammed on the brakes, but it wasn't enough, and he rear-ended the vehicle in front of him. The next moment, he was rear-ended by the car behind him. Andrew was driving his old BMW when a hatchback merged from the left lane directly in front of him. Andrew slammed on his brakes, but he still hit the hatchback before getting sent toward another car in the right lane. This emitter sent us a clip of an Audi driver who took a curve too fast. The Audi lost traction and flew into some parked cars. All vehicles involved were totaled. Yikes! Watch what Legit Dio witnessed while he was chilling at an intersection in his Tesla. A McLaren ran a red light and T-boned a Volkswagen Golf. Bart was casually driving around when he witnessed an accident involving an orange Brabus. The Brabus and the car it rear-ended were both totaled. Trucking Kitten was driving in rain and heavy fog, causing very poor visibility. All of a sudden, traffic ahead slowed down. They hit the brakes, but the road was too slippery and their cargo was too heavy. They rear-ended a car in front of them, pushing it into a truck instead. Philip was driving his green van when he failed to yield at an intersection. Unsurprisingly, he was hit by another car which flew into the path of an oncoming box truck that hit them both. The driver of the car that hit Philip was transported to a hospital. Wowza was driving his Porsche when a confused driver made a U-turn. After that, the driver headed right into his path, causing Wowza to crash into him. All of the airbags deployed and his Porsche was totaled. Kane was driving at about 55 miles per hour when he realized he needed to exit the highway. He was about to miss the exit, so he swerved into the exit lane without even slowing down. This caused him to flip over on the curve, causing $50,000 in damage. I think the lesson here is pretty obvious. This emitter had just left the auto parts store. As soon as he got onto the road, he was rear-ended by a distracted Audi driver. It was later determined that the Audi driver had been drunk. Lime was leaving an intersection when he turned too wide, causing a huge crash. He went into the path of a pickup truck that was pulling a trailer. Afterward, he road raged, crashing into the pickup truck again. This emitter was driving his orange Civic down a highway on the American West Coast when he heard the loud sound of a V8 behind him. When he looked in his side view mirror, he saw a Mercedes had spun out and hit a pole, which made it spin even more. Our emitter slammed on the brakes, but he still bumped into the Mercedes. Have you ever seen a flying Tesla? No? Well, today's the day. I guess somebody wanted to test the full acceleration of their Tesla on a narrow road. When the Tesla finally landed, it promptly crashed into a building. Doggo Gaming noticed the driver of a supercar trying to overtake traffic when a car pulled out from a side street. The supercar driver slammed on the brakes and tried to avoid a collision, but there wasn't enough space to squeeze between the cars. Fat Gus was driving his Tesla Model 3 when he made an epic smooth landing after a jump. After that, he crossed another narrow road, but he lost control and hit a wall. Steppy was driving his Audi when two drivers at an intersection failed to yield. He T-boned both cars, causing severe damage. I gotta say, for a mobile game, those are some great damage mechanics. Sammy was slowing down before an intersection when a Ford Transit rear-ended his camper van and a few other cars. The Ford driver turned out to be drunk and he was later arrested and taken to jail.